justice for all.
Welcome to our September board meeting. Clerk, roll call.
Trustee Prosser.
Here.
Ball.
Here.
Sewell. I don't know where he's at. Crowell. Here. Supervisor Cox.
Here. Okay, we'll begin with public comments. You'll have 5 minutes. And just step to the podium and state your name and address.
My name is Keely Morgan, and I've lived here since 1980. During the last meeting, Mr. Cox commented that he would like to publicly name those making FOIA requests at future meetings. The clerk's report indicates that he did not have a chance to compile that list for this month.
A little
So
louder, please. Is the mic?
Is this on?
Yeah, it's on.
Alright. I'm gonna start over. My name is Keely Morgan. I've lived here since 1980. During the last meeting, Mr. Cox commented that he would like to publicly name those making FOIA requests during future meetings. The clerk's report indicates he did not have a chance to compile that list for this month. So I just wanted everyone to know that I submit myself personally an average of 1 to 3 a month. I also want to thank our clerk for his duties as a public servant. He does an amazing job. We are lucky to have them, and I hope all goes well during his leave.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashley Stewart, a former township trustee, now a concerned resident. First, I do want to say, Jim, I'm thinking and praying of your wife and your family. Brad, happy anniversary to you and your wife today. Before raising some concerns about recent township actions and decisions, I want to first congratulate the township staff on a successful back-to-school event. I believe in giving credit where it's due, and at the same time, as a citizen, I also have the responsibility and the right to critique and hold my elected officials accountable. I was troubled by Supervisor Derrick's remarks about FOIA requests costing taxpayer money. Responding to FOIAs is not an extra burden. It is a core responsibility of a unit of government. That's part of the clerk's job description, yet at the same time, there is discussion of appointing the township attorney to handle FOIA responses. I don't know if that's going to be at a free cost or if it's going to be charged. That move would inevitably increase costs significantly as attorneys' bills are higher than the rate of staff pay. If the concern is truly about saving taxpayer dollars, that proposal is counterproductive. Second, I noticed in the supervisor's report that it's an awesome program, the bus token grant. I think that's a great thing. My understanding, it was Tara who actually did the bulk of the work for that, and I didn't see any recognition to Tara for doing all of that work. In a previous meeting, Margot and Brad also mentioned that they would like to have detailed receipts on what is spent in the assessor's office. Pam and Pete submit every receipt to Don, since the money comes from the town fund. So if Don and Derek do want to provide a report with all of those receipts for the board packet, it should be available to them. But again, this is just further proof that the board majority is unaware of the daily operations of the assessor's office, yet they were so quick to make significant cuts to the assessor's budget. Finally, I was glad to hear that the supervisor attended a LIHEAP training today, but if I'm not mistaken, this was the first training in nearly 8 years of his tenure for LIHEAP. LIHEAP is a core function of the General Assistance and Township Office and should be prioritized long before now. Just a reminder, in Illinois, whistleblower and employee protection laws prohibit retaliation against employees who report unlawful conduct, unsafe practices, or misuse of government resources, ensuring they cannot be disciplined, demoted, or terminated for exercising their right to speak up. If board members are upset that the truth is being brought to light and that community members are paying attention and speaking out, perhaps their energy would be better spent attending HR trainings rather than debating the relocation of historical monuments or security cameras. Transparency, accuracy, and shared credit are essential to good governance. I hope the board will take these concerns seriously moving forward. Thank you.
Katarina Engel. I'm a Collinsville resident. This township deserves leaders who value transparency, respect their constituents, and follow the law.
Excuse me just a second, what was your name again?
Katarina Engel,
Katarina Engel, okay.
E-N-G-L-E.
Thank you.
And I'll start over. This township deserves leaders who value transparency, respect their constituents, and follow the law. Instead, we've seen elected officials, Supervisor Derek Cox and some trustees, misrepresent our rights, silence voices, and insult the very people they serve. Let's start with FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act. FOIA exists to keep government honest. It's how residents ensure tax dollars are spent responsibly and hold leaders accountable. Yet Supervisor Cox has gone online and at the last meeting to call FOIA requesters conspiracy theorists and claim we're costing taxpayers thousands of dollars. That's simply false. Illinois Law 5 ILCS 140/6 shares the factual lawful information that clearly dispels this lie about the cost of FOIA to any entity fulfilling these requests. I also have a source for that in the back of the packet. Transparency is not harassment and FOIA is not a burden, it is a legal right. Misrepresenting this cost discourages residents from asking questions and undermines accountability. FOIA exists because history has proven that government transparency is essential to preventing abuse and corruption. But this issue is about more than access to records. It's also about the conduct of our elected officials. Supervisor Cox and others are blocking residents from commenting on Facebook pages where they post township business, such as news about the solar project and campaign content in the past. This is not just bad practice, it's unconstitutional. In Lindkey versus Freed, U.S. Supreme Court, March 15, 2024, the court ruled that public officials cannot block constituents from official social media pages because of criticism. The KTJ law firm summarizes it well. If a public official uses their social media account to communicate about their official duties, blocking users who post critical comments violates the First Amendment. Yet here we are in Collinsville Township. Residents have been silenced and demeaned. Supervisor Cox even calls constituents a cancer to you and our community. And at the last meeting, Mr. Cox, you accused me of twisting your words. Luckily, I have a screenshot at the very back, but these are your exact words from your own post. Some in our communities and in our government only ever want to criticize and complain about everything, ... We all must learn to ignore these people as they are a cancer on you and our community. When I said this rhetoric shows you see us as enemies, you claim you talk and listen to anyone. However, blocking your constituents online says clearly that you do not care about us. This behavior doesn't stop with you. Trustee Margot Crowell has posted an inflammatory content telling immigrants to leave the country, spreading harmful stereotypes about Muslims and mocking transgender people. This rhetoric isn't just disrespectful, it creates fear, divides neighbors, and discourages civic participation. Trustee Crowell, we've documented your words even if you've deleted them. You took the time to create a mocking AI-generated story about a constituent, the girl who cried FOIA, while Mr. Cox called Ashley Stewart a phony and a conspiracy theorist. End quote. Sounds exactly like an Ashley in our community, a complete phony who is constantly coming up with fake conspiracy theories that have been costing taxpayers thousands. This is not public service, this is harassment. Crowell, your public posts promoting Christian nationalism and anti-immigrant rhetoric are dangerous and disgraceful. Here are just a few examples for you. You wrote that immigrants should return to their own countries if they don't assimilate. That is racist, and it erases the fact that this land was stolen from indigenous people. You said Muslims who want to live under Sharia law should get out of America. That's Islamophobia. You claimed we speak English, not Spanish, Arabic, or Chinese. That is xenophobia. America has always been multilingual, long before English. You insisted this is a Christian nation. That is false and dangerous. Christian nationalism is not patriotism. It is a threat to religious freedom and democracy. And then there's your cruel joke about transgender service members suggesting a soldier would put on a dress and change his name to Jessica. Trans people have served and died for this country. Mocking them is hateful and it is not leadership. And just yesterday, you posted a long message blaming Hispanic people for child trafficking, claiming Hispanic people sell their own children into sex trafficking. That is racist scapegoating. Trafficking is a horrific problem, but it's not tied to one race or ethnicity. Data shows Hispanic and immigrant communities are more often victims of trafficking, not the perpetrators. Also have a little source for you there too. Hearing this rhetoric from a township trustee shows a serious lack of empathy. understanding, and leadership. Township leaders should be bringing people together, not spreading fear and division. And Mr. Cox, your own rhetoric is equally harmful, accusing a local attorney of hiding illegal immigrants and threatening they'd end up like the judge in Wisconsin. Screenshots in the back, too. Let's be clear, like I said, no one is illegal on stolen land. This rhetoric is unworthy of public office. These issues extend beyond online behavior. At the last meeting, questions were raised about the intergovernmental agreement between the township and the roads department for landscaping. Cox claimed Kathy's department handled all mowing and trimming for years. Kathy clarified, and I quote, "I've never done the mowing, and we've never done landscaping. We come out once a year to trim. Terry contracted out mowing. The agreement doesn't specify tasks. I only said we would try to help, ... Yet in
30 seconds.
Yet in your supervisor report, you wrote, in 2021, Kathy and I signed an intergovernmental agreement in which the highway department provided mowing and snow removal services for the senior center township office. These two statements don't match. If there's a new agreement, provide it so the public can see what it actually says. We've already talked about FOIA, but I would like to know if there's going to be additional legal fees, if the township attorney is the new interim FOIA officer. You can read the rest that's in here. Thank you.
My name is Rachel Dye. I am a lifelong Collinsville resident. I first of all want to say thank you to all who serve on the township board. It's an act of commitment to show up and be part of something, and I thank you for doing this. Secondly, thank you to all on the board who have given up their time and talents in coming up with creative solutions and ideas in order to resolve issues and make progress on behalf of taxpayers. It is always my hope that anyone who serves in any leadership capacity would be a forward-thinking individual who is flexible and adaptable to the demands of their position, might represent it at any given time. Therefore, thank you to all of you for living out on this commitment. With all that being said, I've kept an eye from a distance for some time now on developments with the township, and I've reviewed meetings. My own schedule makes it really difficult to come in person, so I appreciate the chance to review meetings online, as should be the practice of every public entity that reports to the taxpayer. As time progressed, I've grown concerned about a number of things with the township, but tonight I will speak on only one item I find highly alarming. First, I'm concerned about the way discussions have progressed with FOIAs. I have a career background in social work and working with federal, state, and local agencies. Along with all that comes plenty of policy and procedure to follow, as you can probably imagine. Although it may be frustrating or daunting at times, personally or professionally, to receive FOIA requests, especially if someone feels there may be devious intent attached, is still an institution's legal and moral responsibility to understand their role in this protected right. And by their role, I mean well beyond their legal obligations. The way conversation has progressed in the township meetings with this desperate and dire need to name the names of FOIA requesters is a blatantly obvious and, most importantly, morally unnecessary step, trying to be sequestered by those in power to discourage and intimidate those who would put in such requests. Furthermore, there was the assertion by Supervisor Cox that these FOIA requests cost the taxpayers thousands and thousands of dollars seemingly all the time. However, at the last township meeting, the FOIA officer specifically stated that these requests are part of his job and he doesn't charge as all information is provided digitally. At times, depending on the request, there could be the need for some extra personnel, like IT, right, to be called in. However, given what we know, the law claims about FOIA's financial charge limitations and what the township FOIA officer has shared about the township's own current practices regarding FOIAs, this claim of it costing us taxpayers ridiculous amounts of money every time seems to be an exaggerated claim. As the discussion wore on, Supervisor Cox only kept hammering at wanting names over and over again. Look, it doesn't take someone all that long to figure out that something certainly seems off here. Also, please remember that Supervisor Cox only referenced those repeat FOIAs that he seems to have a feeling of disdain for. My guess is if I were to FOIA actual FOIA requests, which is FOIAble, y'all, how much, if I were to FOIA those actual FOIA requests and how much they cost the township to fulfill, we might be surprised by other names on that list, and they might contain some people that Supervisor Cox doesn't know, doesn't disdain, or maybe even alignment with his same political party. Heck, some people might even be in allyship with. What I'm getting at is that the whole point of FOIA is transparency. If there's nothing to hide, wonderful, that's great, right? You can be upset all you want, but let the process play out and keep up with the timeframes, which has been a problem. Any move to manipulate, discourage, or adjust FOIAs to negatively impact the process or increase the cost unnecessarily, which would be adding a lawyer if there's a cost associated with it, does not speak to the motives of those asking for FOIAs, but of the institution taking action to place extra barriers into the process. When you ran for office, Supervisor Cox, you said you wanted to listen to the public. That's what you put in your interview information. So hear us loud and clear. Leave the FOIA process alone and stop making efforts to unearth names and add punitive and unnecessary barriers. It's not necessary. If things are done lawfully, there's nothing to hide. Transparency is essential no matter who is in office and what's going on. If you cannot accept that, then you are not someone who needs to be in office. Taxpayers need a government who understands that morality and transparency are essential in word, action, and policy decisions. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, my name is Don Cox, and I'm Derek's dad. I'm gonna try to talk slow so the older people can understand me, and let everybody know what I'm thinking about. First of all, I thought all this stuff was over with after the election, but the crazy people never stop. They're never gonna stop. The crazies go on forever. And by the way, I'm not on Facebook, so you can put anything you want on there about me, because I don't care. I'm not on Facebook, because there's no sense in looking at crazy stuff on there. Okay, and if the people with common sense stop speaking up, crazy stuff happens, like what happened today. So some people with common sense have to stick up. Okay, I was never a fan of politics and had some second thoughts when Derek got involved. But he opened my eyes to how dishonest and crooked some people in the community truly are. From nepotism to the good old boys club. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Politics, this has been the form of politics for over 50 years in this community. I understand when someone new comes in and throws a monkey wrench into your club. You scream bloody murder. When someone else comes in and wants to change things for the better. The old guard gets exposed and embarrassed. One thing they can do is beat the new guard at the ballot box. Well, when that doesn't work, they lie, they cheat, and they try to discredit the new guard. Derek, don't give up, fight. Because if you give up, they get what they want. They want you to give up. Because then they got their old ways back again. They're crooked. Okay? That's how a town, a township, or a country gets destroyed.
Anybody else? All right, on the agenda, we're allowed to answer some of the comments, so I'll start, and I'll let everybody else chime in. First of all, Ashley, you have caused all of this, and I'm gonna explain why, all right? You think it's funny, it's not funny, because this is dividing our community, and it's sad that you've wound up these people and created a lie, and I'm gonna prove it to you right now. First of all, how many FOIA requests have went unanswered?
What do you mean by unanswered?
How many FOIA requests? Because I know when I was a trustee back in the day and then some requests came in, we didn't get any answers. Okay, so you would reply and say,
Well, that
I need
doesn't
more
matter.
time, or how many FOIA requests have you ignored? Or been asked to ignore, or anything like that?
None have been ignored. There have been some that have been denied. There are numerous that have been rescinded. You know, they took them back. And there are currently numerous that are open. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of our FOIAs are for emails or for video footage, which require us to go through our support technician, who doesn't really follow necessarily the 5K rules. He's not all that responsive, so. Unfortunately, but I will say most of the requesters are very understanding about that, and they're more interested in getting the information than forcing the issue that it takes more than 5 days at times to things.
All right.
But I don't ignore them.
So I think the answer is 0.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So no FOIA request, like that was saying, has been denied. The last meeting, never once, and you know this, never once did I say, I'm against FOIAs. Actually, tonight, I'm gonna say, we want all stones unturned. We want to turn over all stones. Because guess what? We can FOIA too. We can start FOIAing, when somebody comes and goes and somebody's computer and, there's a FOIA out, I think it's from you, Ashley, anything with my mother's name in it.
No.
Okay, and
Not
so.
from Ashley.
Oh, that one's not from Ashley. All right, what
I
I'm
don't
trying
have
to
any
say
FOIAs
is
currently.
like,
I do.
how much money she spends on giving, is that what you want to know? But there's nothing in there. I don't care. I want you guys to FOIA away.
I've never taken a dime.
I know
This
this.
is my
I know
money.
this. Okay? Again, crazy, evil people we're dealing with. When it comes to these, not these, what I'm saying is this. When I say it cost us thousands, let me prove this to you. Let me prove this to you. Let me prove this to you. When I say this has cost us thousands, because I've been accused of saying that, and I did, and it absolutely did. Before the election, I was accused of not turning over a FOIA request. We had a special meeting. We had to get lawyers. The place was packed in there. Remember that?
To censure you, yes.
Yes, to censure me, right.
Yes, and it
Guess what?
was effective.
There wasn't even a FOIA request submitted. Mr. Attorney, was there a FOIA request submitted for those receipts? Yes or no? Was there a FOIA request submitted?
There didn't need to be a FOIA request.
Okay,
because
so
the board.
can we just answer a question? Was there a FOIA
No,
request
there wasn't.
submitted or
I
not?
don't think there was.
There was not.
Okay, there was not. There was no FOIA request submitted, okay? What I'm saying is, everything, you got them in 3 business days. I was requested documents, gave them in 3 business days. Then, now we're gonna have a meeting because it took too long. Okay, that did cost in lawyers' bills. Did you see those? For what? You got everything before the meeting even occurred. Everything. I am not against FOIAs. I do not know how to say it any clearer. I said it at the last meeting. You can take video and you can edit it and spin it and try to spin people up and think it's hilarious. Listen, I'm a regular human being and these folks at this table are as well. We're serving you. And it's not fair and not right to be treated like that on a constant basis. It's harassment, okay? Calling me names. Here's one. Here's what we said before the meeting. On your page here, it says, we deserve leadership that invests in residents, not in lawsuits and in FOIA games. Okay. I'm not doing any lawsuit. This board is not doing any lawsuit, and we're not playing any FOIA games. We've answered every single FOIA. The one that I'm talking about with thousands of dollars, the one, it absolutely is correct. It did cost that much money, okay? You've gotten every single FOIA. When I say bring up people's names, this is a problem. It is the same people. You can come to a meeting and you can ask me before the meeting, anything. You can ask me and I will give it to you. There is nothing to hide. We don't even deal with any cash up there. We're audited every year. It's hard to even understand where you're coming from and how you're twisting things just to get people angry, and it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. Big red flags. She says big red flags. Okay, you even said this right here in your comments. You said, first time I've been there in 8 years. Okay, the Lahi. I've been the supervisor for 4 years. Okay, so that's a spinning things.
You were a trustee before
Listen.
then.
No, there is not a single trustee that goes up to that Lahi appointment. Not a single one. Not a single one.
Did she go?
No, she didn't do a single thing sitting on the board. And I encourage anybody to FOIA one thing that you ever had an idea on or actually got accomplished on. Your idea was something that they told you that could not happen.
Let's limit to
Thank
responses
you.
to
Thank
public
you.
comments.
Okay. So when it comes to costing the taxpayers money, all right, on the FOIA, it is not, and that's on our agenda tonight. The clerk has a family issue going on, okay? So if they have to go to the attorney, then yes, that is going to cost money. There is no FOIAs that has cost us any money. One should have, because I printed out paperwork this high, but we didn't collect, you know? And do you think does other taxpayers think that that is fair to sit there and have to print out? There are laws, just like she says, and print out reams and reams and reams of paper. The one time that I brought up a cost was the time that I went to FCB to try to fulfill everything that was asked. That was the price that I was given. FOIA all you want. That's the point. FOIA all you want. Because, go ahead.
I got a question. You talked about our IT person has to come in to do some of the.
There's cost.
And do we pay that guy by the hour?
I can tell you this, we get a bill from them monthly. I have asked him on numerous times to charge us for all this extra work he has put into, and to my knowledge, he has never submitted any kind of bill.
So
We
he
don't get a
works for
bill,
free, or
we can't pass that
he
on,
doesn't
we
charge
can't
us
pass it
extra?
along.
He works for free or he doesn't?
We pay him monthly,
Monthly flat.
but I've asked him specifically to send us a bill for extra time, and to my knowledge, he's never billed us. And it's not because I didn't ask him, because I've asked him numerous times.
And I'll address a lot of these specific concerns in my supervisor's comments. But it was mostly about FOIA. Does anybody else want to address? Yeah, I might have to find somebody new. I mean, it's very, as Jim can tell you, it's been a
Frustrating.
challenge, okay? But to say and to be accused that we're trying to discourage anybody from FOIA, you can FOIA anything you want, my mother's name, my parking spot, whatever. You can do it. It's all fine. Anybody else want to say anything to, if your name was mentioned or like about the comments?
I'm good, thank you.
Sure, I would. Yeah, I'd like the attorney to look these over. And,
Could you just put it close to your mouth?
Sure. So I would like for you to look at these and we can, go over them later. I did not know that, freedom of speech or anything like that, could be shut down. I can be attacked personally as a politician. However, I cannot respond, possibly. I mean, we can talk about it later, or we can talk about it, you know, in the next meeting. I do have some strong feelings on some of these issues, and, I'd be happy to shut down these accounts, period, because it just, I feel like a big heart for them.
We can't hear you out here.
You gotta
I
get
feel
closer
very
to it.
strongly about these, and I feel very strongly about my country. And I would happily shut down my public profiles if that's what you're asking.
That was not what I was asking.
But I will, I'll be happy to, because anything that I say or do will be stepped on. My freedom of speech will be squelched. My opinion on who is causing terrible attacks in this country is not to be talked about, because I guess I'm not an American citizen that can discuss my beliefs or my freedom of speech. So I get it. When you become a public servant, you are to shut up and serve the public. I get it. Thank you. Thank you, dear.
Don't do that, then the crazy people win. Don't give up your speech.
Oh, no, I'm not
Because the
giving, I'm
crazy
not
All right,
giving,
hold on, hold on, hold on.
I'm not giving up on my, I'm not giving up on my personal opinions.
But to your point, because it was brought up that I have blocked people on my own page. Absolutely. You would not believe the things, one of them sitting right back there, that says on a daily basis, the names that I've been called, it's crap. And it's gotta stop. I'm telling you. So, but that's why I just block you. I don't have to see it. I don't have to see it. And I can do that, and I talked to lawyers about this during the last election, and I have every right to block somebody on my personal Facebook page if I'm tired of being harassed. And you guys can even understand that, because you've done the same thing. All right, we'll move on.
We do, and I was called, that I supported genocide. I support genocide because I do not stand with a country or certain sides of a country
You
or
got that whole
posts.
thing mixed up, we can talk about
Hey.
it later.
Oh, we can talk about it later? No, there's attacks in here.
You have an
There are
opinion.
personal attacks. There are
Stop.
personal attacks, but the public is allowed to attack us. Our public is allowed to step on my private property and remove signs and then take them to their own homes. The public is allowed to send dirty little private messages. I did block those. I could send them in and have them arrested, but I did not. Gentlemen making comments and messages. You also have profiles that are fake profiles. In addition to that, you have people who don't even live here, and one gentleman that just engaged me and lives in England or Australia or somewhere like that. Where are you guys getting these people? Are any of you attached to these people? Because you comment, you act like you know them personally. Maybe, maybe not. But thank you anyway. I'll just remove myself. I won't make any comments publicly. I'll keep it on my own page, and I'll be sure to block any public or any person that is on my Facebook page that is a friend will be unfriended. Thank you.
All right. So we're okay with FOIAs, all right? FOIA all you want, there's nothing there. I would like for us all to try to start getting along. And you have it, my word, from right now, that's what I would like, okay? If you have any questions, always talk to me, ask me, you can email me, I am always accessible. I'm here at the Senior Center every day. Okay, old business, discussion regarding future of township property. I put this on the agenda here because we had spoke about it at the last meeting. So I wanted to get some information, okay, about the lot. The past supervisor bought the lot from his brother-in-law for $90,000 in 2016. All right, then after that, 3 lots, the parking lot attached to the building was combined. So, as it sits right now, if we were going to sell it, we would have to spend some money to redivide it, okay? and do a separate lot, that's gonna cost some money. The people I've been talking to says that that was way overpriced, and we probably maybe would get half. I don't wanna go into that, cause I don't wanna, and it'd be a closed session thing, but it would also, the biggest thing is, it would take a vote of the electors, just like we did with the parking lot over here to get it. It would take a vote, and they would need to decide if we wanna put it up for sale or not. So,
And what's the legality on that one? I thought,
Selling property, that's.
that is one of them.
Yeah,
That's
real property.
That's the real property.
so, I like to move fast, I like to try to get things done. I'm still mixed on it. I don't wanna spend money to split it up if we're not gonna sell it anyway. Another idea that I had, and again, I'll take criticism, that's what you get when you run for office, with ideas and things like that. Again, just trying to figure out how to get the ketchup bottle painted with a grant and things like that. So the other idea that we could, I was talking to some folks about, what about if I looked into some bocce ball courts and making it just look nice with some green space and tables, maybe a stage, maybe something else in there. Because again, when the parking lot is paid off, which it will be soon, about another year and a half or so, we're gonna be eligible for another $35,000 or so a year in grant money. But you have to have a park. We don't have any parks, so that would be eligible for that if we wanted to do something, and we could possibly get like a PEP grant loan. PEP grant came along when CARD was dissolved. So what I'm saying is, like that, over there, we got $125,000 up front, and they even pay the interest on it. So, any feelings on it?
Instead of us, getting to the cost of all that, if we have an idea of that area that we're wanting to sell, and say, this is the square footage we have, and then just get hold of real estate, this is what we're looking at of selling it, and if we're over that 90,000, then we can look in saying, okay, this is what it's gonna cost us to divide that, and subtract that from the amount that we possibly could, so instead of separating it, because I've got like property in my house, I thought
Right.
about doing a section of it myself, separating, so you can get that information first and
Okay.
say, hey, this is the area that we need, this is the square footage we're going to sell, and just try to get an idea of what they think it's gonna go for. And if they think it's gonna be over 90,000 or so, or close to that, then we can look into the cost of what that would be, and then you subtract that off the top of the money. So it's just an easier step, that way we can find out, like I said, what Clint had said, maybe it is worth something that we can get more out of it, if we can. All we do is paint some white lines, this is where we're gonna do, figure out the square footage, and at least put it to see where we're gonna be. If we get some bids on it, or some bites on it, then we can say, okay, this is what it's gonna cost to divide it.
And could we put it up, do the vote, then, before we actually got it divided to actually sell it?
I would think so. Generally, I think as part of a lot of real estate contracts, you can make them contingent upon whether it be a subdivision or annexation or any other
Division
number of
of,
things.
separating it.
So,
Have we engaged a real estate agent yet, or?
I have talked to one, right, and she's the one that helped us on the lot,
I was gonna, maybe suggest Barbara Murphy, Scott.
Yeah, Scott, I know Scott
Yeah,
well.
because he's who I've talked to in the past, just
Right.
over beers.
Mhm.
He had some thoughts
Okay.
on maybe some different strategies that might help us.
Okay.
And they have heavy and commercial.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
I got his number.
Yeah, and,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Also, we just need to make sure that wherever we are dividing that they still we have efficient parking for the backside for the assessor's office, because that's a tight area for them to get in there.
Correct.
So just making sure that we measure it off and then just get the square footage and see what we can come up with.
Okay, I like that idea. I didn't think about actually, instead of actually dividing it, just painting the lines and saying, here's what it is, and it's
Yeah, this
it's
is what we
contingent
want to
on
sell,
that, and see
and
what
if
happens.
it works, then we
Okay.
can go from there.
So then, I guess then, we would need to schedule a hearing. Could we do that before one of the meetings?
I mean, I don't
Why
think we
would we
want
have
to
to have a
schedule
hearing?
Oh, so you're saying not to actually
Yeah.
see what we can get before we schedule that?
Yes.
Kind of
Okay.
figure out.
Yeah, just get.
Gotcha.
short
Gauge
footage.
interest.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
got it,
Engage interest.
got it,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, we have to contact the city first to ask what actually could be there, because I know when I purchased my
Right.
property, it was a commercial piece of property, and they were very specific of what could go into that building, so
You just need
have
to
we
know what it's zoned
contacted?
at right
Is that
now.
zoning
It
related?
doesn't matter about.
It's an empty lot.
Yeah.
But they'll get, again, they can do all that,
Yeah.
Scott can pull up all the
Right.
stuff. I have everything pulled from what, that we have so far with, the lot lines, the price, and, all that,
Yeah.
so. But I'll do the work when we get back, and then just see, just
Yeah, I was,
gauge it.
yeah, I was just, that was
Okay.
gonna be my 2 cents, is
I like the idea.
Scott's,
Okay,
Andy's, real community with Derek at the city too.
yeah, okay. Next up is new business approval of the resolution in support of Collinsville Unit 10 Back to School Supply Program. And it was $4,000, and it goes to the K-Hawk Closet. And we packed up about 400 bags, and the teachers then decide, because they see the students firsthand, and they know who's the ones that need the help immediate and the most, and gets it into the right hands. Do I have a motion of support?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve, 2025 R11.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right. If no other questions, roll call.
Trustee Prosser?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Prowl?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. B, approval of the resolution 2025 R12, adopting the 2025 Madison County All Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is a road and bridge thing. Can you just briefly?
Yeah, so you probably know Kathy has been attending some meetings. This is a county-wide program, and they have a program about hazard mitigation. And then if we participate in the program, which we have been, and there's no reason why we wouldn't, it does allow us in the future, if some things would happen and funds become available, it makes us eligible to receive federal funding. So it's Kathy has asked us to put this on the agenda and support this, so it's kind of a no-brainer.
Okay, any motions?
Motion that we accept and approve
To send a resolution.
resolution.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Roll call.
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Prowl?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. Next up is appointment of FOIA officer and FOIA procedure. Again, we've already talked about this. The reason that this is on the agenda is our current main FOIA officer needs some help, and there's been some things that have come about that we'd like to change the procedure.
So I'll just comment briefly, if you don't mind. As Derek mentioned, I have a personal problem now. My wife is in the hospital in Seattle. I'm returning to Seattle. I've been out of the area for over 2 weeks, and I'm going to be gone for another 2 weeks. And one of the problems with FOIA is they are time-driven, and I need Bill's help anyway, and I think it would be an undue burden right now to pass the large number of FOIAs that we do receive on a regular basis on to Tara Compton. And so I've asked, Derek and I have talked about it, and Bill and I have talked about it, and I think in the short term, the best thing for us would be to name Mr. Boker, Attorney Boker, as a FOIA officer. And once I get back on my feet, then we will try to phase that out as soon as we can. But I do at times have to go for him to help anyway, so that's nothing new, especially when we start getting requests about things that involve our attorneys and things that we really shouldn't be releasing. So it will, and unfortunately, it will cost the taxpayers money, and I apologize for that, but
To make it clear.
cancer does not discriminate, and unfortunately, that's something that my family's dealing with now, and I need some help because of that.
And to make it clear, I didn't ask you to go talk to Bill about to do the FOIA.
Just wanted to make sure we're on the same, that we're on the same
I
page.
just want to make sure that this table understands that, because it's being twisted that I'm doing this, and so you're saying yes.
Nobody said that.
Jim's saying,
Also, why can't
you're
the
the
other
one that.
FOIA officer do it instead of the lawyer?
There's 3 other officers on the website, that's where the confusion is.
The problem that I personally have with right now, as you know, I mean, I don't see any secret in this room, most of the FOIAs that are coming are all aimed at Supervisor Cox. Ms. Compton works for him, and I think that puts her in a very awkward position that would make her very uncomfortable. One of the other FOIA officers, Pam, which you'll learn, Pam's retiring at the end of this month. And then the other FOIA officer is at Road and Bridge. She really doesn't have direct involvement. So there really isn't anybody that I think I feel all that comfortable with handling these things in the short. It's a short-term thing. Not to say that Bill won't continue to be, because Bill's always involved in the FOIA process, because there are times that I do have to seek his advice on whether he feels that what needs to be redacted, what I can deny, and so that hasn't changed and that won't change. But in the short term, I'm just not going to be available, and we can't put the FOIA process on hold. It is our, as some of you have pointed out, is our legal obligation in providing transparency. And I have, for 4.5 years, I've tried to do the very best that I can. And as most of you know, everything was great until the election cycle started, and now in the past 8 months, I've probably seen somewhere close to north of 60 FOIAs. So it's a process right now, and in my opinion, that in the short term, we really need to appoint Mr. Boker as a FOIA officer and let him step forward until I can get back in the saddle.
Yes.
Did I hear a comment that the majority of the FOIAs that are being sent in are directed at Derek?
Currently, yes.
Well, do they think they're harassing you?
I guess they do. But it doesn't,
So there,
again. it doesn't-
I did once get a FOIA asking about your emails, Brad, just so you don't feel left out.
Go.
But like Jim had mentioned, that there's situations too, you can't FOIA everything, okay? And one of that is, it's called attorney-client privilege. And I got an angry phone call from our lawyer, not this one, saying, how is our emails out on social media? I go, I have no clue, I didn't see anything. And then, Margot, you saw it. And so, I still am, I don't know, and I don't know if it's against the law if you're sharing something that's not supposed to be shared.
So I can answer that question. And I released that email, and I apologize for it. After talking to Bill, I realized that I did something that I probably shouldn't have done. And the only reason I released it is because the attorney that was involved was not our attorney at the time. We did not hire that attorney until about a month after this email. And so I didn't see a problem with that, but after talking to Bill, I realized that should not have been released. So I apologize for it, and if you guys want to fire me as FOIA officer, I'd be more than happy to step aside and let somebody else take this.
Because I want to try to be as completely transparent as I can. What is the law on that? So our attorney wasn't our attorney before then. How does that work?
So regardless of whether or not you have retained them or are going to retain them or don't retain them, in any time you seek legal advice, it's protected by attorney-client privilege, unless there's some sort of expectation that you wouldn't have it, like you go and tell that attorney and then broadcast it to people who are not attorneys or something like that. But generally, in the example that I gave when talking about this, if you have somebody walk into your office and confess to murdering their wife, and then they don't hire you, you can't then go tell the police that, or that's a breach of attorney-client privilege, regardless of the fact that they didn't hire you. So the fact that they weren't retained yet, he could have been talking to multiple different attorneys, it's still protected. As far as publishing it, it was sent out by the township, so arguably that effectively waived the privilege as to that email. If it had mistakenly been sent out by the lawyer, there are some rules where the lawyer can kind of reclaim that privilege, but because it was done by the client, being the township or an officer of the township, the privilege was waived as to that document.
Okay, sounds good. But that's the reason, because we all have to remember, we're here working for you. There's a couple $100,000 lawsuit that, again, not that we filed, all right? We didn't file the lawsuit. We're trying to protect you, the taxpayer. So that's why. Moving forward to security camera. Sorry about that. So appointment of officer, and on FOIA procedure.
I'm suggesting that we appoint Bill Boker as a FOIA officer.
Do I have to
I'll make
second
a
that?
motion to do that.
So Jim Achenbach,
I'm not making the motion, I'm not on the board.
he's the one
I'm
that
suggesting
suggested it.
Marco's gonna,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and I would also like to add on the procedures for now, because of this incident that happened, I would like FOIAs to be reviewed before sent out from our attorney, because we're in the middle of things, and I think that's the thing to do for the taxpayers. Because we got all these FOIAs coming in, you can't just be throwing out stuff, and I would like somebody of authority to say, yep, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
I think some people would like to see a sunset on this turning over of duties. Can we say for 2 months?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, and we'd have to make a re-motion or something.
Right.
Yes.
I like that, I like
To
that
be
idea.
clear, I'm not looking to answer FOIAs. This was sort of
You don't want the job.
thrust
But you'll take
upon
it.
me in the last,
Thank you for serving.
So for you to review everything moving forward for now, and then to help with the FOIAs, and then for the next 2 months, and then we'll revisit it.
I don't have any problem with letting Bill review anything to do with the FOIA, as long as it doesn't interfere with the timing. And we get some things that, to be honest, he's not gonna really care about. But I have no problem running stuff by him.
Well, what I'm really saying is in 2 months, it's your job again.
Well, it's still,
Even if you're not back, we can't.
it's still my job.
Right.
But I need his
I'm
help
just
right
trying to
now.
make it clear.
I got a question in the back, is it free? The problem is nothing in the world is free, okay? So that's just how I know we, in our mind, everything went free, but nothing's free.
There won't be a
Jim's not
charge.
free.
There won't be a charge to the FOIA requester if that's what
Yeah, that's
that
what-
will
just
not
wondering.
process.
And that's never, ever been suggested. So, and that would be against the law. So, all right, we have a motion,
In a second.
okay,
A motion that for 2 months.
for 2 months, okay? Roll call.
Trustee Sewell?
Yes.
Crowell?
Yes.
Crosser?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Security camera placement. This came up because not what's been suggested online, my staff, and one of them sitting back there right now. First of all, I was unaware, and you can understand this, that I even had a camera in my office, okay? And so the meeting that was the big bombshell that was posted out there was a perfectly 100% fine meeting. There was nothing wrong with it. I was meeting with our accountant and members from the public and about information that is available for everyone to see, okay? Talking about what their concerns are, what's the best way to get the best type of interest and accounting, and I like to get, like I said at the last meeting, anybody's advice. Gentleman sitting back there today came in, I think that was you, sir, but I'll mention you here in a second. I heard him at the door, and I came out there and I talked to him. I don't know if you're a Democrat or a Republican, and I don't care. You can come in and you can ask me anything, and if you want to sit down in my office and talk, I'll talk, okay? But the problem is that some of the folks, they don't even know that there was a camera in there. And then when it's posted all online, they feel like that they're a little bit violated. And then they're saying, and then people come up to me, what were you doing wrong? Well, there was absolutely, Mr. Attorney, was there anything wrong with that meeting? Anything?
No, there was no Open Meetings Act violation or anything like that.
Nothing. I'm allowed to have meetings in my office, okay?
What was said online, is it true?
Correct. But what I'm trying to say is that when the camera, I had asked our IT guy 4 years ago, does that camera work? I mean, it's just staring at me at my desk. Oh no, we disabled that camera. I don't care. You can, I mean, you might see me picking my nose or something sometime, but there ain't nothing going on in there, and I'm there, you know? And so, I have not disabled my camera, okay? I have not. It's still staring at me as of today, okay? But my staff I was pulled aside and said that one was about to quit because she's tired of the camera, that she didn't know that people are just now FOIAing every day staring at her. You know, how would you like that, Mike? You know, you wouldn't like that. And it's actually even in our union contract, you know? So, and how is it just on our side of the building? There's two sides of the building and not on the other side. I mean, so and then I want you guys to know that if you haven't heard, there's been some vandalism up there. After the rally on Saturday or whatnot, okay, so the police, the No Kings rally, the police came in, they're asking for video footage. There is multiple spots, I don't know, do you know about this? Okay, so the city got hit a couple times, and then it's mostly around the township, the next door building, spray painted, I won't say the word, but F our president, it's all over our dumpster, okay, and they're asking if I had any video footage of that, and unfortunately, our cameras we only have a few out there. So I would like to see more cameras for security for outside the building and not in staring at somebody in their office trying to do work. And what do you guys think? I just keep rambling, sorry.
Well, I'm concerned about how did this footage get to the public?
FOIA, and it's
FOIA. How'd
a
they
FOIA,
know?
and it's public information, so it was released.
Okay.
It's a camera, so we've taken footage, there's cameras in here, that's public information, somebody asked for it to get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
And there is no audio on any of those cameras,
So we
just video.
can put cameras in everybody's offices?
I mean, if that's what's on the agenda. I don't want it in everybody's offices. I don't want it in anybody's offices.
But I mean, it's in yours and the public can see it. Should we put it in all offices so everyone can see it, the public can see it?
Yes.
Or should we just remove it?
No.
Did you
No,
say
you don't
yes?
need them in
Yes,
the offices,
transparent.
because here,
Yeah?
we can't, if we put it in the office, those people are working on sometimes, let's say, stuff that is not public, and we can't have a camera that can be looking at that. No, you put the camera in the hallways and on the outside of the buildings. If you wanna know if people are coming and going, we'll have that. We'll have the perimeter videoed, but we don't know. We can't put cameras in a potty or in their
Well,
office.
of course
No,
you
not
don't put
in
it
a
in a
potty.
potty.
But what I'm saying
That's
is-
kind of freaky.
is I think what she's been in there and you've been in there is like the general area. Okay, there's one back there that's going
Yeah.
in
Well,
everywhere.
in here, that's
So
not-
we're saying what I'm trying to get at, because I don't want to be the one to make the decision, because then they'll criticize me and say that I'm trying to manipulate something. So what I'm trying to do is come to the board and ask you guys what you would like, because right now on the office side, there's one in your room, Jim. There is one in the main area. There's
Right.
one in the hallway, I believe, and then
Back
there's
hallway.
the back hallway. There's one in my office. There's 0 on the general area of the assessor's office. So, do we want to just remove the ones from the inside and put them on the outside and then just wait? Do we want to put one in the general area on my side and one in the general area on the assessor side.
Is there one in the lobby?
There is one in the lobby.
The lobby one is probably,
That's safety. I think
that's a
it should be
safety issue, and the
Agreed.
ones on the exterior of the building, my opinion is, I would get rid of the ones on the inside of the building. It doesn't bother me that I'm looking at a camera all the time. but
My opinion
it's
is you're the
unnecessary.
executive of the township.
Exactly.
You have
I
the
do.
right to do whatever you want with the cameras, so there's no need for you to ask the board for any of our opinions on what to do.
But I agree, I don't have to, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Clint, because I had checked, and then they said, no, you can do that, and I could have done that years ago. And I didn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable on that side and get accused of whatever. And so, because again, sometimes cameras are for my safety too. You know, if somebody's being accused of me of something that I'm like, no, I got footage, so I don't mind them, but my staff doesn't like them.
Well, yeah, like I said, inside the office is, I think, intrusive, but you could put it on the hallway, you know, if
But I
it's a
tell you-
security issue, we would want a video of who was coming in and going out, and if you put it in the hallway, you're for certain gonna get that.
Okay, I
One
will,
over there, one, you know.
I'll tell you what, like Clint suggested, and that's the position I ran for, I'll make that decision. I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna talk to staff, see what they're comfortable with, and move from there, okay? I would like to not have to put it on their side at all, but I don't think that's fair either. You know, if you're just gonna be staring at us and foiling me all the day,
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just stop with the, trying to get somebody picking their nose, okay? All right. Approval of the trash contract. The reason I put it on there just like that is because I was hoping that we would actually have the actual contract. We're very close. I met with, not Carrie, Carrie was the other one, Rhonda, who's the executive for Republic Service. This is the contract for everybody in the unincorporated area, okay? And so we want to try to get the best deal as far as price and service for everybody in the unincorporated area. I thought we were going to have to go out to bid, but apparently, looking at the contract, and other municipalities have done it, and I had Bill look at it, maybe you can speak on it, where we're at.
There's a built-in 3-year extension, basically built into the contract. It's more or less what it is, if we want to take.
Didn't we extend it to 4?
Yes.
I thought we did already.
I thought we were out of extensions, but the way it reads is you could actually do it another 3 years. Now, in another 3 years, we might be able to do it for another 3 years.
So how much price increase? 5%?
It's 5% increase. Here's the other thing that we gotta remember. Let's say if we go with another, waste management or something like that, and I'm fine with, doing bids and stuff, but what we've found in the past, these folks have to get all new cans. That's a big cost that Waste Management or another company is gonna have to build into your price. You already have your cans, and so it's not gonna be a 5% increase, it's probably gonna be much higher. Maybe possibly more new drivers, new trucks, because they're having to do new routes, so, anyway.
I don't think we need to rock the boat. I mean.
No, that's why I agree. So what I'm gonna do though, I wanted it to have it in writing tonight. It might have came even right before the meeting, but I told her there was no need to show up. She said she will make sure that everything is here by October.
So we'll do it next month?
Yes.
Okay.
So is this something that really need, I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, is this something that we have to vote on again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it ends in December 31st. And if you might, when it was about 4 years ago or so,
Yeah, I remember.
we did it the wrong way. Not we.
Yeah.
They did it the wrong way.
So on this 5%, is that 5% each year for the next 3 years, or just 5%?
Correct. For the next
Per year.
3, each year.
Each year be 5%
Yes.
increase?
Yeah,
So
and right when
15.
I get that contract, I will send it to you guys.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Easier things here, consent agenda, items A through E. Clerk?
Okay, so you have the minutes from the last regular meeting, and then you have the reports from the assessor, highway commissioner, the supervisor, and myself.
Motion approved, consent agenda A through E.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor, or roll call?
Trustee Crowell,
Yes.
Prosser,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes. Next is our approval of bills, clerk?
Okay, first thing, general assistance, we had expenditures for the month of $5,262.88.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Prosser?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Frau?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Road and Bridge had expenditures for the month of $245,011.43.
I had motion that we approve that.
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Frau?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
There were no expenditures in the Road and Bridge Equipment Fund. The Town Fund had expenditures for the month of $108,641.45.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Sewell?
Yes.
Frau?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
And finally, the Senior Center had expenditures for the month of $7,915.50.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you, guys.
No questions, roll call?
Trustee Crowell?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. Thank you, Jim. Okay, reports by officers and committees. Kathy had an engagement this evening, but I thought this would fall under Kathy's, a little bit of Kathy, and I'm gonna talk to her, but had a gentleman come tonight. I invited him to the meeting and he could speak on it, but he lives on Clay School Road, and he was just saying that it's pretty dangerous sometimes when you're pulling out there and they're coming across and people are speeding. And I said, well, actually one of our trustees brought up, and I talked about it when we all got sworn in just 3.5 months ago. So I started looking into, I guess it was about 3 weeks ago, trying to get actual prices, okay? And just to clarify, this was online, all right? Derek's trying to do speed traps, okay? Alternative page, it's right there. This is not, we don't have, I'll read it.
It's not her page.
Okay. We do
It's
not
mine.
have, okay, okay, Keely, we do not have, we don't do the police, okay? And so this is to try to get, we don't do the police. Let me take that and spin it. Listen, we are not in charge of the police, okay? This is an idea that I thought was an excellent idea from Mike when we met, and we've had several complaints on how to get folks to slow down in some of the neighborhoods, especially where kids are. And one of the ways that has been proven is you put up these the signs that say, hey, you're speeding, and it's red and light flashing, slow down. And then there's all kinds of different also cameras that they could take pictures. They could send it to the police. You could have all kinds of different options. So I want to get all the options for this board. It is pricey, but I just wanted, it wasn't just you and I. He came and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And so I wanted him to come up, and let us know. So he's here, you don't have to speak. But what I'm saying is that I think it's worth it, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm asking Kathy to take it 100% out of her budget, but I would love if she could try to find a way to work with us, because it is more of a road department issue, okay? But if she can't, then maybe I'll try to figure out a way, and maybe we can fundraise or something, yeah.
Well, okay, I was gonna say, you only got 3 months, and put it on next year, but we voted on that.
No, so anyway, I'm going to, she was here, I was gonna talk to her about it. Also, on her report, I spoke to Kathy, and it came up in the thing. We did sign a new intergovernmental agreement. And she was the one that we talked, and she says, no, I wanna do this. And she wrote it all out. It's basically the same as it was before. There are a few changes. It's saying that she would mow the township offices and things like that. It does not say weed eating. So I emailed her and I said, Kathy, because does this include the weeding? And she says, I don't ever put in that. We just do that as part of the mowing. It's on email. So that's fine. And I said, that's fine. We have an agreement. And for the narrative to be put out there that, the thing is this, never once, and I'm not against it because we did it, never once have I pulled any of the weeds. Here or down there, never once. They did it always. Since I was the supervisor, they were always the ones doing it. This year they got behind, things happened. I didn't see that the weeds in front of the sign got tall. I called her up, she was busy. Then says, well, that's not really, and I said, well, okay, that's fine. I just wanted it weed eated. I'll go out there, and you called me, told me about it, offered to help, so we did it. It's nothing. So, anyway.
Are they gonna take care of actually spraying the weeds, actually on the concrete, or are they just weed eating as they're doing the grass? I mean, I'm not reading what you've got there, but.
Right.
Trimming when they mow.
So just trimming when they mow.
That's my
So
understanding.
we still have the issue of weeds between the grass, between the sidewalks, and weeds maybe in the plants.
Yes. And now that that's clarified again, I've never done it before.
Right.
It was just always done. I don't think in here also has Christmas lights. They always put up our Christmas lights.
They do the trimming of the bushes and trees before they put the Christmas lights up, so.
Right.
I just like to say, just wondering about the actual weeds that are gonna grow between the and the plants. Are they, if they're not gonna take care of that, then there's something we still need to look into.
Right, or, again, that's something
I
that
mean, if
maybe
they
I
got weed
can.
killer, if
Right.
they got some, they can just maybe leave it in your office.
They
and
already,
then-
they already did.
Okay, and they can just, one of you guys, I mean,
Yeah.
of course, no one cares.
I think
Right.
Kathy,
Still
on the
put
Christmas
flowers.
lights, what Kathy
Or the
told me, they were
bushes.
concerned about the solar stuff. Getting
Oh.
up on the roof with the solar stuff.
Oh, and that's fine.
They
What
didn't
I'm
wanna-
saying is-
They don't wanna break anything.
No,
What
I get that.
No, what I'm saying is that we had an agreement. It's not an in-depth agreement, it was a verbal agreement.
Right, it was
And
more
for-
of a helping.
It was, she's part of the Collinsville Township, we both want each other to look good, and so we worked with each other, and there had been no problems. For 4 years, this had all been taking place. So if it was my duty, you would think, in 4 years, if I would have known, then I would have been the one doing it. They were the ones that doing it. Jim, he would come here and I'd want,
Jimmy did.
yeah, Jimmy did it. And so it was no problem until it was a problem.
Well, I think at least we got it more organized and understanding, like I said, besides now the weeds and that kind of thing is the only thing we need to still.
Correct.
That's my
Yes,
opinion. We
I
still
agree,
need to
and
take
it will
care
be,
of that.
right, we'll
Do
take
you
care
want,
of it.
do you want to put that on the website?
Oh, the intergovernmental
Yeah,
agreement,
I can
yeah,
put it on the
okay,
website.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's, you're gonna put it on the website.
I'll post it on
That's
the
great,
website.
and then maybe, now that Keely's shared with us
So
that
then
she,
nobody has to
you
point
do
it.
the alternative page?
I'm not allowed to
Township.
speak, it's your turn.
Oh, well, if that's what you do, then it'd be great. You could put that out there and say, we've moved on, we've got it taken care of. That'd be
would
great.
be.
That'd be
Alright.
positive.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Now to the assessor. He did his report. I was going to mention something about that because I don't, let me find out where I have it here. Here it is. On the assessor's report, it's almost the exact same every single month. On this one, it says, turned in 0 pictures to Chief County Assessment Office. It's asking people, if you haven't turned in your 2024 homestead, disabled person, or disabled veterans forms, they need to be turned in. All forms need ID with them. And then, down here it says, went to Edwardsville to turn in all exemption forms. My point is, once again, now we're in September. If you remember what some people then called stamp gate. All right, remember that one? Said that everything had to be turned in by March, or veterans, Collinsville Daily News put, veterans were going to lose their senior freeze exemptions. It's right here. They're still working on it, and it's September. It was a fake article that scared seniors, and that's not right. And so I wanted to point that out. That's not right to scare seniors if there's so that we had plenty of time to send it to the mail house to save money. Trustees.
good this month.
Thanks.
Anything?
I'm okay.
I do have
Okay.
something to say. So, considering like the camera and the security and the things going on, especially like all the graffiti and the anger that's, to the point of causing damage, like doing criminal damage to our city and whatnot in our township building, do we need a professional sweep, to look for devices within our building? Have there been people that have been allowed into our building that could be questionable, that maybe we should sweep for cameras?
I don't
or
really know
listening
how to do
devices?
that, but
I mean, like, it's not, we're supposed to be transparent, and you said you have a camera, and you're gonna work on all the cameras that we have, so they can FOIA those, but what about like, anybody that's coming there and,
right, no, I mean, I've been there 4 years and I was just surprised, but I don't really know I'm not technically savvy when it comes to sweeping a building to try to find, other than tearing walls down and stuff, but I'm not interested in that. But again, they would have to be very bored to sit there and watch.
They have equipment.
I understand what you're saying.
but they're.
It's not the CIA or anything.
No, right, but they're bored enough to like scribble stuff on our buildings and walls and things around town, so, just, you know, just in case.
I'm just going to ask our IT guy once again and try to understand what he has down there. We did speak about having to change it, and there's gonna be a little cost in it. One of the problems is all the wires that go down to the basement, when they built the building, they made the hole, maybe it was that big, okay? You cannot fit another wire where the camera hard drive is down there. So he says, you know, we need to bite the bullet, move everything upstairs, even the computer hard drives, things like that, because
It's-
moving forward, right.
I've talked to Zach
Yeah.
prior to this past election.
And-
It's
and-
definitely a need.
And just so you know too, the other need is talking with our accountant and things, and Zach, but our QuickBooks is, it probably needs to be, go to the
Refresh.
updated version. That's very expensive. And so we're fine now, we have it backed up, everything's good like that for our accounting, but moving forward, that's probably gonna be on the budget for next year.
In January, I had that talk with Zach, there's definitely end-of-life issues
Yeah.
that we have coming up.
Yeah, because it works fine, it's just if it breaks,
Right.
when you have to then
Support.
repair it, they're not gonna support it.
Yep.
So, anyway.
And this probably wasn't brought up before, but I do have a question for our attorney. When, and I'll review our video, but if things were said that, are against any of us that were untrue, do we go through you for legal action, or do we get our own private attorneys?
You would get your own private attorneys.
Okay, thank you.
It wouldn't be the Collinsville Township
Right,
as an entity taking that
right.
action.
I didn't know if the public stood up here and said something that was not true, how he would handle that. But I appreciate that, then I know, but I can get my own private attorney.
Yes. Okay, anything else? Thank you. I'll take the senior center, I'll just read what Gabby had, and first of all, I just want to say, and I hope, maybe she'll watch this, maybe not, she's doing an incredible job. Something is really sparked in her in the last, I would say, 6-8 months, but she's, I mean, just really doing a great job, taking initiative, and just new ideas, and this place is really going good. But she says, we're excited to announce the arrival of a fantastic coffee bar. This was her idea, along with updates to some of our wall art and areas. The staff is also working on a memorial for Mr. Allen, honoring his 40 years of dedicated services. We are planning a craft activity each day, and also we do many trips out of here. She says that her deposit for the month of $5,021, she says she was delayed in getting to the bank and arrived a day after the holiday, so therefore did not appear on the bank statement. So if it looked a little bit, again, there was a statement on there that we are now almost out of our budget, which there's nothing that can be further from the truth. We are making money on the lunch program, okay? We have you can see it on your thing, $21,000 And then there's gonna be $5,000 that needs to be deposited in there, so we're doing just fine. If you or anyone else has concerns about spending at the senior center, please feel free to come see me. It is my responsibility to ensure a safe, enjoyable, and clean environment for those aged 55 and over. Please remember that these individuals are often overlooked, and I want to make the center a pleasant place while visiting within the budget. She says we've received some record numbers in the last few days. Yesterday, 113 people. Today, we had 87 people for breakfast. And you can also apply for CSBG in here. That means that you can apply, and if you qualify, you can get free meals in here, and we do that. And this is a picture of the memorial that we almost, we got everything, that we got that great bench and everything, but for Terry, and it's gonna be going right out here, okay? And we're keeping the cost, it's under $1,000, but this here is expensive, okay? Okay, next up is supervisor's comments, okay. Can somebody make sure my camera's still going? I just wanna make sure. Because sometimes it might get low on battery.
Still rolling.
Okay, still going? Okay, clerk, do you have anything?
No, I would just like to thank everybody though for their prayers and thoughts about my family and my wife.
Okay, supervisor's report. To the residents of Collinsville Township, I want to take a moment to directly address you, the people we serve every day, especially those who may have read or heard things on social media. For quite some time, I've chosen not to respond to the constant negativity, false claims, and misleading spin posted by a small group of individuals. Unfortunately, these few voices have worked hard to distort the truth and create unnecessary doubt about the work we do on the behalf of the community. You deserve better than rumors, misinformation, and anonymous attacks. You deserve honesty. That is why I feel it is important to explain why you see this continued attack on me and the township. The reality is, it comes down to just a handful of reasons that I will lay out. But I could also just tell you in a simple truth and explain it to everyone simply and quickly. When I was elected supervisor, I was of a different political party, and I came in and changed the way that it had always been done in the past. The other side has always taken it extremely personal, and have been extremely nasty since day one. Every single item I have been able to accomplish, or any idea that has been met with extreme hostility. It was simply because I'm not a part of the party and the way it had been done in the past. So let's look at a few of the changes. First, let's talk about the tremendous improvements at the senior center. Since I took office, the senior center has been completely transformed. Today, we often see over 100 people coming through the doors, many of them new faces, sharing how much of a difference the center is making in their lives. I could go on with personal stories, and that's why I do this job. I could spend a half hour listing the changes from the new parking lot to the dedicated staff and countless other upgrades. Simply put, it's nothing like it was before, and we're proud of what it is now and what it provides our seniors and residents in need. Unfortunately, a few of the constant complainers continue to distort the truth about the center, but we know better. The senior center is stronger, more active, and more valuable to our community than ever before. How about the free leaf and limb pickup? The Collinsville City residents, Collinsville Township, and the city are now working together. Instead of simply saying that's good, that's happening now, they mock that it only happens twice a year. When I became supervisor, the Empty Bowl, which is the main fundraiser for the Collinsville Food Pantry, would have possibly gone away. The township took over this event and made it better than ever. The Empty Bowl has raised over $50,000 just since I became supervisor. So the small-minded individuals now would like to see the Empty Bowl fundraiser go away. How about the Volkswagen bus that I worked hard with MCT and got for the Collinsville Township for just $1? This plus a $15,000 a year grant that pays for the gas and the driver and even maintenance. We have taken people all over the area to get them out of the house and active. Around 100 trips since becoming supervisor. Places like the zoo, Fox Theater, Merrimack Caverns, the State Fair, even funerals that pop up. People want to go as a group, seniors, whatnot, we take them to the funeral. And the last board actually applauded this. We have helped other organizations. We help St. John's Community Care and Faith in Action. Anytime they need it, they get a hold of us. They can have it that day. We can get them a driver. The bullies you see now online don't like this service. Why? Because it had never been done before I was supervisor. This makes me look good, so they must be against it. Remember the huge backlash that I received when I fought hard to start the township school tutoring program? We use Unit 10 school teachers to do this. When I became supervisor, instead of just handing out backpacks to everyone who wanted one, I felt a better way was to work directly with the teachers. Let them identify the students who had a need and just help fund the KR Closet through Unit 10. So now, the same ones, the few anonymous profiles on Facebook say Derek doesn't care about the less fortunate. He no longer gives out backpacks to everybody. They leave out that we're actually getting the need filled in a much more effective and equitable way. Just over a year ago, I had an idea to save some money on our electricity bills. I reached out to several solar companies and identified grants that would cover the project 100%. At that time, critics claimed solar was a waste, and there was no way we would get the panels installed in time to qualify for the incentives. Well, we did. Panels were installed on both the office building and the senior center in time, and since then we've already received nearly $200,000 back from the original cost. This project is saving taxpayers money and paying off as I planned. Of course, some will never admit it turned out well because doing so would mean acknowledging it was a good decision for the community, but the results speak for themselves. A big item I am proud of, and I would like to point out that we are the only local municipality to lower your property taxes. We are proud to be the only local government where not just the tax rate, but the actual dollar amount you pay has gone down. In recent years, we have also earned more interest on funds than ever before, stretching taxpayers' dollars further for the benefit of our community. Every department's budget was carefully reviewed and reduced where possible. This included the assessor's office, which is now seeking to charge the taxpayers more than $300,000 above what similar townships like Edwardsville charge for the same work. The Collinsville assessor, who has been in the position for 47 years, has long referred to it as a part-time job, but the reality revealed something closer to a no-time job. This was brought to light, and I, along with this board, stood up for you and the taxpayers. This matter is now under investigation. So, if the constant complainers you see got their way, your tax bill and the taxpayers would pay even higher property taxes. Lastly, it amazes me that some voices who attack and bully continue to claim I'm not transparent. The truth speaks for itself. Before I was elected, meetings were held in a small room that few people even knew about. When I became supervisor, I began recording the meetings and worked to have them moved into a larger, more accessible space and encouraged the public to attend. Before my time, there were no real bylaws, little accountability, and FOIA requests were often ignored. Since taking office, we have established time clocks for accountability, ensured meetings are held in proper public spaces and recording for everyone to view, posted financials online, and responded to every single FOIA request. Transparency and accountability are not just words. We put them into practice for the people we serve. We have a few unhinged Karens in our community who make things up with no evidence of any fact. Everyone at this table knows that. So Collinsville Township now has the best senior center around that helps so many more in our community. We help get your leaves and limbs picked up free. We are involved in our community and help raise awareness for tens of thousands for charity. We have a small bus that everyone can use to go to events now as a group. We have helped so many more children in Unit 10 that needed school supplies. The township is the only unit of local government to lower the property tax levy and the budget that ask for less of your money each year. And who was the one that put all the township meetings online to view, including our financials, and has been 100% transparent? I'm almost done. The few constant agitators, instigators of hate will never admit a single thing good that has been accomplished. All ideas are spun and twisted to present a false narrative. I can almost bet, and I will bet, that this very meeting and this speech, it will be edited to make something different than it is. Anyone with common sense can see why this constant negativity shows up on social media. I was never a part of the clique that controlled things for decades. Instead, we modernized. We improved the way that Collinsville Township operates, and that will never sit well with those who benefited from the old ways. It's so bad they can't even use their real names in profiles on social media, or they will just turn off the comments in fear of facts actually coming out. That should tell you everything right there. They claim they're for transparency, but that's actually the opposite. This board was sworn in just 3.5 months ago to serve a 4-year term, and I know each of us here is here because we want to accomplish good things for our community. I remain open to anyone reaching out to me directly with questions, concerns, or ideas. We won't all agree on everything. That is okay, because disagreement is often where the best ideas begin. Unfortunately, a small handful of individuals continue to spread misinformation and launch personal attacks against me and certain members of this board. While I doubt they will stop, we will not allow their negativity to overshadow the positive work we are doing for our community. Their behavior speaks for itself, and I trust that most people recognize it for what it is. So, does anybody else have any questions or comments? If not, I will accept a motion to move to closed session.
Go to closed session.
And this is to discuss, do you want to mention what it's to discuss, or do we need to?
Yeah, it probably should for the
Yes.
record.
Are we going to discuss litigation that's filed with Penny?
Yeah.
Is that what
I
we
think
want
that's
to
what
do?
the plan is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so motion to move to closed session to speak about the litigation.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call.
Trustee Prosser? Walt? Stewart?
Yeah.
Brown?
Yes.
Supervisor Connor?
Yes. Okay, thank you. We're going to move back there, and then we'll just come back and just adjourn. No votes will be taken ever in closed session.